Hello, and welcome to today's webinar on the Renaissance Strategic Visioning and Planning Program. My name is Perry Hyatt. I'm Community Development Director for the Georgia Municipal Association and also serve as the Managing Director for the Georgia Cities Foundation, a 501c3 organization that was originally created by the Georgia Municipal Association to assist cities with downtown revitalization. With me today is Danny Bivens, Public Service Associate with the Carl Vinson Institute at the University of Georgia. Before I ask Danny Bivens to talk about the Renaissance Strategic Visioning and Planning Program, I'd like to provide a little history regarding the Georgia Downtown Renaissance Partnership. In 2010, GMA and the Georgia Cities Foundation embarked on a comprehensive study of downtowns across the state. The study commenced as the foundation had celebrated its 10-year anniversary during one of the worst economic recessions of our lifetime. The goal was simple: to determine what GMA and the Georgia Cities Foundation could do to help downtowns remain the heart and soul of communities across the state. GMA and the Georgia Cities Foundation engaged the University of Georgia to lead the downtown study. UGA staff conducted surveys, focus group meetings, interviews, and research, and presented the study's findings at GMA's Mayor's Day Conference in January 2011. At that time, a special downtown development task force was created to analyze the findings of the study and to craft specific recommendations. Georgia's Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle and Georgia Cities Foundation President Mike Starr co-chaired the task force, which included bankers, investors, developers, economic development experts, and city officials. The task force met during the spring of 2011 to dissect the study and develop specific recommendations, which included statewide incentives, training, and technical assistance. At this time, I'd like to briefly mention the implementation of these recommendations to date. With regard to statewide incentives, House Bill 128, which was passed in the 2014 session of the Georgia General Assembly, creates the Georgia Downtown Renaissance Fund to direct investments into downtowns. The fund, which would be administered by the Department of Community Affairs, would be capped in an annual $5 million appropriation by the General Assembly for 4 years, not to exceed $20 million. Training enhancements. The state-mandated 8-hour basic Downtown Development Authority training class, which is conducted by the Georgia Municipal Association and the University of Georgia, has been strengthened by including instruction on downtown master planning. Also, an advanced Downtown Development Authority training class has been established to provide additional training for experienced downtown development professionals, board members, and municipal elected officials. This course has been offered twice in 2014, and it is scheduled to be offered twice in 2015. Also, the Heart and Soul bus tour, which the Georgia Cities Foundation has conducted annually since 2001, was repurposed in 2014 into a mobile workshop training opportunity targeting city officials who are interested in downtown revitalization and adjoining neighborhood redevelopment. The 2015 tour, which will be conducted May 13th and 14th, will visit the cities of Woodstock, Rome, and Dahlonega. Municipal elected officials may receive training credit through the Harold Holtz Municipal Training Institute for completion of the entire tour. Registration information is available on GMA's website. Lastly, the Special Downtown Development Task Force recommended the creation of a capacity building partnership to assist in planning and technical assistance to build local capacity. This partnership, now known as the Georgia Downtown Renaissance Partnership, consisting of GMA, the Georgia Cities Foundation, the University of Georgia, working in cooperation with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs and the Georgia Downtown Association, and with funding support from the Verizon Wireless Foundation and the Georgia Power Foundation, have developed the following programs. Renaissance Strategic Visioning and Planning, or RSVP. This program assists cities in creating an initial vision and short-term work program for their downtown areas. Downtown Renaissance Practicum course. The practicum was first offered at UGA during the 2014 spring semester and is being offered again during the 2015 spring semester. Through the practicum, students of historic preservation, landscape architecture, and environmental planning are provided an opportunity to work with cities on specific downtown projects. Downtown Renaissance Fellows Program. Through this program, an undergraduate landscape architecture student at UGA is assigned to a city during the summer months to provide technical and design services. And lastly, targeted technical assistance. In addition to the 3 programs that I just mentioned, there are opportunities through the Downtown Renaissance Partnership for a community to receive targeted technical assistance for downtown projects that may not fit the other programs. At this time, I'd like to call on Danny Bivens to discuss the RSVP program in greater detail.
Thank you, Perry. My name is Danny Bivens, and it's my pleasure to be here today to talk a little bit more about the RSVP process. To date, we have completed 5 RSVPs, and we are currently working on 3 more. To date, we've worked in Dawsonville, Cairo, Cedartown, and Perry. We are currently working in Americas, Clarksville, and Gainesville. The Renaissance Strategic Visioning and Planning process, or the RSVP, is a 3-phase process. Phase 1, where we are. Phase 2, where we're going. And then Phase 3, how we get there. Step 1, where we are. In Step 1, we focus on public engagement. It's a key to our process. We want to hear from as many people in the community as possible, and by listening, we determine the top issues, or the priorities, if you will, that must be addressed in the plan. We use different ways to hear from the community. First thing we do is look at the plan review. We know that a lot of things have been completed prior to our arrival. We look at your demographics. We use a visual preference assessment. We conduct one-on-one interviews, focus groups, electronic town hall. We also do a survey, both hard copy and electronic. In Step 2, we do a lot of design work. We create renderings, and we focus on visualization. In Step 1, we heard a lot about what needs to be addressed. In Step 2, we take the solutions and the ideas that we heard in the community. We put those to paper and come back with visuals that the community can look at and determine, are we going in the right direction? Step 3, how we get there. This is a very crucial step, and it's a step that we find often that other master plans skip or don't go into enough detail. And that is the strategic planning. How we're going to get it done. Who's going to do it? When is it going to get done? And who's going to pay for it? And we answer that in the short-term work program. And we also think about that long-term goal and vision and how we're going to get there. In August 2013, we began the CEDARTOWN RSVP process. It was completed by Christmas of the same year. We'd like to talk a little bit about the RSVP process in Cedartown and use that as our case study example. Thinking back to the first step in the process, when we use public engagement, we can talk a little bit about what we heard in Cedartown. We received 1,250 electronic and hard copy surveys. Those surveys were also distributed not only in English, but in Spanish. We conducted over 14 focus groups and over 15 one-on-one in-depth interviews. We also conducted an electronic town hall meeting using a wireless system with laptops at every table to engage the community. We had over 80 participants. Once we compiled all that information, the top issues were vetted through a steering committee. Those top issues are what you see on the screen. After 5 p.m., code enforcement, people and events and activities downtown, making sure there's places to eat, getting young people involved, letting people on the bypass know how to get downtown, and also making sure that county courthouse stays downtown. The implementation comes as an action plan. We work with that steering committee and we develop strategies to address those top issues. We then go back to the public and we engage those citizens that we heard from ask them to come forward and take on an action item, to champion and lead. Those citizens help create those short-term strategies, create those implementable steps, and in the end, create and implement the action plan. What's great about these short-term action items is we're not waiting for the plan to be printed. We're implementing before the final presentation and before the ink is dry on the final plan. I'd like to just touch on a couple of the action items that have been implemented and are making a giant impact in Cedartown. The first was a First Friday concert series. On the left of the slide, you can see the original plan. On the right, you can see the current plan and status. You can see on the left, in the brainstorming phases, they called it First Friday. But the community realized it would compete with the First Friday that was taking place in Rome. So they now call it the Fourth Friday event. Jennifer Holsley, a citizen, became the champion of this and is responsible for the implementation and the success, as well as the business community and the support of the city. In this slide, you can see an advertisement that was created to advertise the first of the concert series, as well as the cruise in with Classic Car and Classic Car Show to make the evening a great event. This allows me to show you a little bit what I mean by the vision, renderings, and design. This parking lot plays a role in the Classic Car Show and the Fourth Friday event that takes place in Cedartown, now a monthly event. The city owns this parking lot, wanted to figure out ways that they could dress it up and use it for multiple activities. We heard that it was necessary to have a meeting space downtown that could be used for festivals and events, and this was the ideal location, being on the main drag. This rendering depicts the car show, activities, people using the lot more than just a surface parking lot. I'm happy to say that it's being used in this manner right now during the Fourth Friday events and other activities that are now taking place in Cedartown. The next slide is a video from the first Fourth Friday event that Cedartown put on, and it shows the success of that program. Another rendering in the same parking lot shows a farmer's market. That too is now taking place on a monthly basis in Cedartown. And I'm happy to say there's another video, shorter this time, depicting its success. Another action item that needs to be highlighted is the Cedartown Biz Builder program. This Biz Builder program was created by Britt Madden, a businessman, community member, and a citizen that saw an opportunity through this process, has stepped up and created a program that I believe will be emulated throughout the state. He has worked with Northwestern Technical College and he created a program for potential entrepreneurs. He helped fundraise and create the curriculum that is tailored for Cedartown. Classes meet twice per month for 6 months. People learn from others that have been successful in the community. I'm happy to say they've already had their first graduating class and 2 people have opened businesses. Once again, we'd like to show you an advertisement that was created by the Cedartown community to advertise for the Biz Builder program, and also show a small film that talks a little bit about the program and the success it's having.
The Cedartown Biz Builder program was born out of the Downtown Renaissance Strategic Visioning and Planning Workshop. The Renaissance Workshop, held in the fall of 2013, aimed to spur new growth and excitement in downtown Cedartown. As part of that excitement, a group of volunteers formed with one goal in mind: to provide new business owners and budding entrepreneurs with top-notch education in order to increase their chances of success in the local business market.
One of the initiatives out of that plan was something I had a chance to be a part of, which was to revitalize downtown by providing an opportunity to educate people to generate established businesses downtown. The businesses would open, but then would not have a plan on how to stay open or to handle issues such as customer service. And so we decided to come in and help educate these future business owners on basic business principles, because those initiatives, together with the ability and unique products or ideas that they're bringing to market here in Cedartown, would hopefully provide downtown with established businesses for us to have for years to come.
This is Perry Hyatt again. This time I'd like to quickly go through the application process. There is an application form that has to be completed. We ask for a letter of intent. The city needs to identify a project manager who will be the point of contact throughout the process. Anticipated funding for the project needs to be listed. Keep in mind that the average cost for an RSVP plan is between $35,000 and $50,000. We ask for evidence of local support for the project. We also ask that you take some time to describe the primary issues facing your downtown area and the reasons for applying and the outcomes that you expect to receive from this process. Note that the application deadline is Friday, February 27th, 2015. Applications should be submitted to the Carl Vinson Institute of Government at the University of Georgia. Please send them to the attention of Danny Bivens at the address provided on the slide. If you prefer to send the application electronically, please email it to Danny Bivens at the email address provided. For additional information, please contact Danny Bivens at the Institute of Government or Perry Hyatt at GMA at the numbers provided on the slide. Thank you, and we look forward to receiving your application.